Hello, welcome to the inaugural episode of the Nerdament podcast. I'm Hayden.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're actually all here as a threesome for the first time. And joining us via Zoom back in her apartment is Victoria. Say hi, Victoria.
Hi.
So, if you don't know already, what we do here is me and Aaron made a 128 person battle tournament. Using comic book characters, or mostly superheroes, from Marvel, DC, Image, and Dark Horse. So we kind of seeded it to a normal tournament seed. Like I thought we did pretty good.
Yes, it was based along the power level of the characters.
Yeah. I mean, Dark Horse and Image, we didn't know as much about them as we did DC and Marvel, so we kind of had to supplement it with the internet.
Yes. It should also be noted that with Marvel and DC, since we know more about their characters, and they're more expansive and well-known, we decided to go with just heroes rather than villains as well.
Yeah, it turns out we were doing a little bit of research into the Dark Horse and Image characters, mostly the Dark Horse ones, and realized that some of them were actually, like, bad guys. So how this is going to work is I have the DC and Dark Horse characters, while Aaron has the Marvel and Image characters, and we did a little bit of research within the characters that we got per matchup. And Aaron, would you like to go over what we're about to do after that?
Yes. So what will happen is me and Hayden will undergo a debate about which character is better and which one will end in the fight. And after that debate, Victoria will be the final judge over who would win. Now, how the debate is going to be structured is going to be the top seed is going to go first, and they're going to introduce their character. And then the bottom seed will introduce their character and start to challenge the top seed. After they're done challenging and Victoria will ask questions, the top seed can start challenging the bottom seed and have his closing arguments. And then it finally ends with the bottom seed and their closing arguments against the top seed.
So we got the number 3 now, Aaron.
Yeah.
Number 3.
The highlight match of The Mask versus Spider-Man.
Nope, that's 4.
That's 4?
Yes.
Okay.
Number 3. We're going to get to The Mask versus Spider-Man later.
My bad. Number 3 will be Supreme from Image versus
Mr. Majestic
from Dark Horse.
Yes.
And I'm number 3 seed, right?
You said Image?
Yes.
DC. Mr. Majestic's DC. Marvel,
Supreme.
Dark Horse, DC, Image.
Yeah, okay, my bad.
Okay, so Supreme.
Yes. So Supreme first appeared in Youngblood number 3 from October 1992.
Mm-hmm.
He actually has 2 origins, and he's basically Image's answer to Superman. So upon his first origin, he is a lot darker, a lot grittier. He was sent to jail for killing 2 rapists in retaliation for their crime. And while he was in prison, some government officials came and offered him freedom if he would join their human testing to make a super soldier kind of idea. And he became the 7th subject, and because the other 6 died during the testing,
As they do.
and they were hoping that he would live. He didn't.
So he died.
Yes, died during testing, but eventually resurrects and starts helping the government fight in World War II, and then he promptly leaves Earth for a while. Now, that's no longer the canon one. I just wanted to kind of point that out. But the second...
Why did they change it?
They changed it by the author of The Watchmen.
Oh, okay.
Who is constantly making things dark, and he wanted to make a more upbeat one to apologize.
Okay.
So he made this one based on 1960s Superman, to where he was exposed to an element known as suprenium as a child, which is an element that can alter reality. They constantly go over that he's part of an ever-changing story, and that he is one of multiple Supremes, who retire in their own reality known as the Supremacy. Because they just want to say Supreme as many times as possible.
Supreme, like every page it says Supreme somewhere.
Yes.
Should I leave or?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
So for his qualities, he originally was very violent and very egotistical in his dark version. Then once they recreated him, they made him basically modeled after Superman. So all the qualities that you can see coming from Superman, he has those same qualities. Now his powers include the typical ones: strength, speed, stamina, also durability to the level of Superman, molecular adaptation to any threat that he encounters, which is slightly different from Superman. He can fly, he has freeze breath, he has laser vision, and going off the Supreme in every panel, he has what's called Senses Supreme, which he can project his consciousness to see things outside of his body. And he has something called the Shout Supreme, which is basically him shouting and then it sends out a sonic boom. Now, basically his feats are, if you can see Superman doing it, he can do it. He's moved the entire country of India. He has destroyed a planet by flying through it.
Why did he move to India?
To get it out of the way of a tsunami. There are easier ways, but okay.
Okay.
And that he is known to be faster than light. And that is my introduction for Supreme.
Okay.
Go, Hayden.
I bring to you Mr. Majestic. First seen in 1994 in Wildcats Volume 1, number 11. He's actually an alien. He's from a planet called Kira, where he is a warlord. Okay, so he had his abilities. He's also very similar to Superman. He has superhuman strength, speed, invulnerability, flight, laser eye beams. This was also DC, just so you know. Like DC made Superman, and then later in the 90s they made this guy. Okay.
Yes.
Laser eye beams. Genius level intellect, advanced mental capacity, microvision, ice breath, immortality, and surviving in space, and accelerated healing. Okay. So he's like Superman who's super smart and immortal. Okay. So some of the, I have I think it's six feats of his. Okay.
Yeah.
At one point, he pushed the planets in the solar system back into order, with ease. That's all the planets. He pushed all the planets, including Jupiter and Saturn, back into place. He is, quote, he punches almost as strong as Superman. He is faster than he flies faster than sound, which is not as fast as light, but still pretty fast, and that's within the atmosphere. He can sense differences at an atomic level. So he, when it says atomic sight, he literally, or microvision, he literally sees atoms, and can change them. He survives the destruction of Earth. And he can deflect blasts, with ease. So, Aaron.
Yes.
Or rather, Victoria, you have any questions?
Yes, I did have a question, for Aaron. So I know, he talked about, Supreme and all of the abilities that he has and stuff. Is Supreme technically on the same spectrum of an alien as well, or is it different because he was born and then
he was born as an American, but because he was exposed to Suprenium,
I'm an American.
He it changed his reality to basically make him on the same level as a Kryptonian like Superman.
I was just wondering because I know with Superman he is definitely from a different planet. So
Yes. In Kansas.
Yes.
In Kansas, yes. And then for you, Hayden, so basically a lot of their powers are the same. So what would you say is the biggest difference in Mr. Majestic's powers from Supreme's powers?
Was Mr. Aaron, was Supreme, did he have super intelligence?
Not to the same extent.
Did he have molecular, sight?
No, but he could project his conscience outside of his body to have sight.
That's nothing.
Yeah, he could also...
That's just like an out-of-body experience.
He could also adapt his body molecularly.
Yes, but Mr. Majestic can see when somebody does that. He can see down to the atoms when something is different. So, I would say that he's also immortal. So he's really smart. He can see and touch and move atoms. And has an accelerated heating factor, and he pushes planets through space for fun. So, I think Mr. Majestic's pretty strong. He's a pretty strong first round fight here.
Yeah.
For Supreme.
Okay, I do have another question for Aaron. So, when it comes to Supreme, I know you said he was able to move India. Can he go into space at all since he can fly, or is there any issues when he does go into space?
He can go into space since it does list that he has flown through a planet, destroying it. So
that's true.
Him, like Superman and like Mr. Majestic, can go into space.
But has he ever moved a planet?
He has destroyed it.
Did he move it though?
I don't know.
Flying through it once is not the same as just pushing it across the solar system.
I mean, if he can destroy it, I think he could probably move it.
Yeah, but he hasn't done it yet. That's my point. He didn't do it, so.
Because he doesn't have to.
But he
anyway.
didn't do it. I think the only thing Supreme has on Mr. Majestic is that he's faster.
Yeah, his speed is what could possibly separate them.
Yeah, but Mr. Majestic has powers that the Supreme does not.
Yes.
So it's just really does his lack of speed outweigh his molecular control?
Well, that is for Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria.
Yes.
What do you think? Does it outweigh his molecular control?
Well, I am still looking over my notes here and coming up with a verdict, but that is yet to be determined, so I will get back with you on that. I do have another question, though, for Aaron. So, since his powers Supreme powers, of course, are similar to Superman, like we were talking about, I know Mr. Majestic has accelerated healing. Does Supreme as well have accelerated healing, or is it like...
He has the same kind of accelerated healing as similar to Superman, but he also has the durability to where it is near impossible to cause him to bleed.
I don't know, man. He's not. I just like that Mr. Majestic. One of Mr. Majestic's powers was surviving in space.
Yeah,
that's one of his powers. But that's not usually mentioned. For like a power like that. He's also invulnerable, so
they have the same invulnerability.
Yes, they're both invulnerable.
That's true. They're not both immortal, though, right?
Mr. Majestic's immortal.
Supreme is not.
Supreme is.
Boom! Come on.
He can be killed. He can be killed, and the Supreme title would be passed on.
Okay.
Like Spectre.
Yes.
Yeah. So, call it. Come on now.
Wait.
Just say it.
Why do you...
Just say
it. Okay. I don't know why you're so aggressive about this. I'm just trying to gather as much...
I can see the win. I can see the W, like, in the, like, near future. I can see it.
Okay. But can I ask all my questions, though?
Fine.
Anyway. Are you calm? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so my last and final question that will decide for me who will be the winner is that, okay, so since their powers are so similar, I want you guys using only the powers that are different about them. Tell me exactly how they would win with those powers only in a battle between the two.
Okay, so we're talking about Mr. Majestic has superhuman or super genius level intellect. He's immortal. Can survive in space. Stupid power. And what was the other one?
Microvision.
Microvision. Does he have ice breath? Does Supreme have ice breath?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so just microvision.
Yes.
Okay.
And for Supreme, that would be molecular adaptation. His senses Supreme, protecting his consciousness, and his shout Supreme, as well as, I'm guessing, the extent of his speed.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to, like, because Supreme is much faster than Majestic is.
Yes.
So you want to count that?
Yes, since that is a
Okay.
difference about them.
Okay. So, Mr. Majestic is immortal. Okay. He's immortal. He's a genius. And he has the microvision. They can sense even when one atom is out of place. So, and then he can correct that. Also, I would like to reiterate, push some planets around. That's dope. Aaron.
Okay, so for Supreme, I would say that even though Majestic can see him
And push planets.
changing his molecules, he still can change his molecules to better suit his chances in this fight.
Yeah, but Majestic could change that. He could
Hey,
change...
this is Aaron's time.
But he
Okay.
could change the molecules.
Also, he can use his projecting consciousness to his abilities in the fight to find out what basically the kind of ideas of what Majestic is doing. He can use his shout as a way to incapacitate him, and then he can also use his speed as his sort of main idea of how to get multiple punches in before Majestic can even react. And I also like to point out, he pushed some India around.
Dude, that's India. It's not a whole planet. Does that give you more insight enough to make an educated, for sure, statement?
Yes.
Okay. So, should I just go ahead and write Mr. Majestic on the board, or...
No, actually, I'm giving this to Supreme.
No!
Hey.
Come on! Why?
Okay, so, based off of what you guys have said, the reason I am giving this to Supreme is because your biggest part with Majestic is just the fact that he's immortal, but him being immortal doesn't mean that he can't lose.
What about the microvision?
So, he does have microvision, but Supreme does have speed, and so even though he can see Supreme is still faster than him, and Supreme can use his other powers in order to, like, you know, knock down Mr. Majestic and stuff like that. So, overall, I do believe this one goes to Supreme. So, yeah.
Alright.
Whatever. Alright, so we got like one more. The 4 seed. Probably the most contentious one you could see happening. I have the Mask from Dark Horse, played by Jim Carrey. And Aaron has...
I have Spider-Man, particularly the Peter Parker Spider-Man, played by a variety of actors.
How many pages of notes do you have there?
I crammed it all into one, but I don't have any space to keep going.
Okay. So, it's worth noting, Spider-Man, Aaron's favorite character of all time.
Yes, so I will be fighting hard for this.
He will, and he will lose. So, the Mask first appeared in 1987. Didn't really specify comic, it just said that he appeared in 87. And the mask itself is a magical item that possesses people, and he's based in a place called Edge City. So basically the mask has the power of plot. He has reality warping. He is elastic. He can regenerate. He can teleport. He has something called Toon Force, which is basically he's able to ignore physics to be excessive and funny, like the Spectacular Spider-Ham, Peter Porker, kind of thing. And then he can also transform. But for all of those reality warping powers and stuff, his feats are kind of mediocre, the ones I could find. He's been able to collapse a concert stage by yelling at it. He he created an explosion the size of a small yard, which is nothing. And he collapsed multiple buildings at once. That's pretty much reality warping is his main power. So, Aaron,
yes,
your argument.
So I have Peter Parker, who first appeared in Amazing Fantasy number 15 from August 10th, 1962. And his origin is very well known. He's an awkward teenager that was bitten by a radioactive spider at the age of 15. He was originally very cocky and arrogant with it, used it to make money as an actor job, until he let a robber slip by him, and the robber killed Uncle Ben. So he started being a hero, and eventually the death of his girlfriend Gwen Stacy made him more responsible for his powers and more compassionate.
Did he kill Gwen Stacy?
No, I say no.
I think it's. Yeah, I don't think he killed him. I think the stop did.
Yeah.
She was going to die anyways.
I think the fall killed. She died of shock. So his powers, the main power that he has is his precognitive spider sense, that alerts him of danger before it is happening, so that he can react to it and get out of the way. He has genius level intellect. He can climb up walls, use wall sticking in any sort of situation. He has strength, speed, stamina. And his stamina, I should point out, is to the extent that he fought Deadpool, who is notorious for regenerating and not getting tired from the fact that he can regenerate constantly. And he fought Deadpool to a standstill, where they both collapsed on the ground. And he also has web shooters, which, as he goes further along, he gets more and more variations of what he can do with them. So, his qualities, typically he is merciful and restrained, but in this, since morals are off, he holds back nothing. He is notorious for his ability to think on his feet and think very quick in combat. He constantly uses quips to lighten the mood, which he has in common with our masked friend. And he is he's very well known for his willpower and his refusal to get up, which is shown from the death of the Ultimate Spider-Man, where he was bleeding out and fought Goblin throughout the entire city before beating him to death with a semi-truck, and then died.
That's rough.
So his feats include that he held up the Daily Bugle skyscraper alone. He punched Hulk once and pushed him into orbit. He moved in the time between somebody pulled the trigger and the pin hit the bullet and ignited it. He moved out of the way in that time span. The non-moral Spider-Man, known as the Spider, an assassin, where he's an assassin working with Wolverine. He has his spider sense to the extent that he knows his opponent's next move before they even begin to think about what it is. His morals stopped him from picking up Mjolnir, since he wouldn't kill anybody, and without morals, he is now worthy of holding it. He was chosen as Captain Universe, which is basically a cosmic entity that has cosmic awareness, flight, and diverts energy. He broke unbreakable glass at the Avengers facility by throwing Wolverine through it. And he is known in the future as the greatest hero of all time. Now, for my main parts of an argument, against Hayden. I do want to point out that without his restraint, he's commonly known that he holds back his punches quite a bit to not kill people. Even against his one of his greatest villains, the Lizard, he holds back punches to not hurt Connors, the man inside. And when he doesn't hold back a punch, it's known to have killed the person instantly. He rolls with punches so that he doesn't break the wrist of the person that's punching him. And he also has the abilities of the symbiote suit, which make him more and more aggressive, but it also amplifies his powers to around twice-fold. And using all of his resources, he also founds his own industries called Parker Industries, which technology rivals Stark Industries and Iron Man. It gives him access to multiple different suits, which are all bulletproof and nanotech technology. Gives him multiple varieties of webs and different types of technologies and vehicles that he could use. And as I said before, he has access to nanotechnology. And for my main challenge to Hayden's character is that Spider-Man has experience with people like the Mask, especially Spider-Ham, who he's worked with on multiple occasions, who has the same kind of cartoon physics, and also with a vigilante known as Slapstick, which is basically Marvel's answer to to the Mask, who commonly uses cartoon physics and pulls things out of nowhere and who is known for having basically everything in common with the Mask. And Spider-Man has not only worked with him, but has actually defeated him before.
Okay, I just had one question, just after all of that amazingness that you just said. Just to be clear, so we are talking about the Spider-Man after Iron Man, correct?
We're talking about the Spider-Man after he founds his own company.
Okay.
In the comic books, yeah. Which is where he is right now.
Yes.
I regret giving Aaron permission to use all different universes of Peter Parker now, so I don't.
I'm pulling hard for this, okay?
Especially since you found that Slapstick and the Mask have the same powers.
Yes. That is
so. Especially since you found evidence that Spider-Man and Slapstick have fought and Spider-Man beat him. I don't know what. I guess the way to beat the Mask would be to take the mask off.
Yes.
Of the character. Do you think he could do that without being incapacitated first?
I would say.
I think so.
Yeah, I would say.
Hey, you're supposed to be biased.
Oh,
or
well,
unbiased. You're supposed to be unbiased.
I thought this was an
Excuse me?
open-ended question. I just.
I would say yes, especially because any attack that the Mask can throw at him, Spider-Man can see it coming, and he gets out of the way with very near dodges, which is his trademark.
But what if the Mask warps reality to where the spider sense is slower? It makes the Mask much faster.
Then that comes to the point of his Stark Industries suit, which is nanotech.
No.
Similar to the fact of
no.
similar to the fact of Iron Man's suit in Infinity and Endgame. And it comes to that point where he has multiple different web variations, and truthfully all he has to do is put a web onto the mask that he is wearing and pull it off.
But what if the mask is too strong to pull it off at that point?
This is a man that held up an entire skyscraper by himself.
Whatever. Do you have any other questions?
So I do believe so. You talked about like him warping reality, correct, for the mask?
Yes.
Okay. And so, in a sense, we have seen Peter Parker before, been unable to survive in space before. So, what would you say would help Peter Parker in that sense?
Well, if I may, the suit he's wearing is his space proof.
Yes. He has multiple different suits that are vacuum sealed and pressurized that can help him in space.
The mask is just like the mask is itself is just a mask. So it's like immortal in and of itself, but the person wearing the mask is not.
I was trying to help you out with that question, but you just...
I'll get Spider-Man back here soon. I don't know where.
I knew the answer to that, but okay.
I'll see. I know where. I'll get him back in the future round.
Yeah, honestly, I had no questions for your mask guy. He's dead.
So that's the answer then.
Yeah. Spider-Man 1.
Yes.